Hi, welcome to your collective reading for the week of January 13th through the 19th. This is our last week of Capricorn season. Happy birthday to all of you Cappies out there. I hope you've enjoyed your season. Today is a special day. I'm really glad that I moved it to Mondays because Mondays seem to have a lot of special moments. And today is no different. We have a beautiful full moon in Cancer. It's going to be peaking at 5:25 p.m. Eastern time today in the States. The moon shows us the side of ourselves that is hidden in the shadows. So we're actually going to be reading a little bit about the shadow. And this moon in particular, it could be putting you in your feels. It could be tapping into a really sensitive side of you, the most tender parts of you that sometimes you only commune with when you're alone. There could be a lot of feelings that come up. Mostly this moon is an invitation to nurture yourself, nurture your mind, nurture your spirit, your body, and to feel whatever comes up. Feel your feelings. I know we talk about that a lot in the spiritual community. Sometimes we want to avoid the way we feel. Sometimes what I tend to do, and I know a lot of us tend to do, we tend to take it to, well, what is this feeling saying to me? Why is this feeling here? What is it trying to teach me? And we take it to the mind. So this moon in particular, I feel like it's a shedding. It's a shedding. It's a reckoning of a lot of the shadow elements that we have among us and also within us. Many of us have been on the path of healing the shadow. And I have a feeling on a deeper level that this moon may reflect to you the ways in which you have grown, the ways in which you have transformed. I'm getting confirmation from Spirit. The ways that you have transformed how you have set boundaries with other people, how you have severed ties around people, places, and things that you know aren't going to be in alignment with you for 2025. And it's almost like 2024 was preparation for 2025, for the energies that we face individually and together as a collective. So this is the time where we really are reconciling old wounds, past attachments, and hidden fears around what we've experienced in our lives. And we're being challenged to really do it with love, to mean it, which there's an undercurrent of forgiveness there. It washes everything clean, right? When we truly forgive, it almost is like it burns away all of the negative emotion. So let this week be a week of surrender as you tap into your higher heart, which is the higher octave of our heart resonance once we have gone through that threshold, that burning away of pain. So I think that we also, as we face this time period this week, once we do that, we actually surrender to a deeper embodiment of feeling grounded and more at peace, so we can soften into what's next. All right. So that's a little bit of the astrology. I'm going to read a little bit from the the prophetess. Who is a priestess? This is a book I've been reading from. I just can't give her up yet. I told you last week we're not reading it again, but we're reading it again because I was curious what she had to say about the shadow. Considering this what the moon does, it shows the side of ourselves that we hide from, that we don't often want to look at. Many of us have been doing that work. So let's just see what she has to say. Let me get my glasses out. And thank you all for tuning in. I'm Jenna. Welcome back. Let's see. I'll bring Spirit in. We're going to do the tarot. I've got new decks that have... I'm so excited to share some of the new decks that I have been playing with the last week. All right. Shadows. Speak to us of shadows. And the prophetess spoke. This world is hungry for a deep light that can only be harvested through our shadows. Our souls are hungry for a spirituality that allows the full range of our authentic being, that doesn't insist on our shallow light while cutting the depths of our sacred darkness off at the knees. Our hearts are hungry for a feeling of home that allows all of us back in, even and especially our most exiled and condemned parts, our most lawless and impoverished and impossible to control parts, our most disheveled and devilish and unkempt parts that have never known how to put themselves together. You were very brave to have come to this world, a place where your light would not always be seen. We need to connect with the small, the contracted within us, not as some laborious duty to our trauma or as a macabre idol of our past, but because universes live in these places. When held in love, our shadows explode into worlds of new understanding. The full moon once thought that it had finally arrived, that it would stay whole this time, that it wouldn't wane anymore into darkness. And hasn't your heart thought the same thing right before another plunge into its necessary school of shadows? But to insist on staying light is unnatural and without elegance. Darling, learn the rhythms of descent into your darkness. The moon would be much less alluring, would have no message to teach, and her process would be far less poetic if she only knew the luminous side of her wholeness. May we cease valuing an intimidating flawlessness and become generous in sharing our sacred wound. Forget perfection. Go for messy, learning, tender, whole. Forget brand new. Embrace cracked, broken open, worn, rich with story. Forget polished. Choose rusted, textured, nuanced, real. Forget divine. Try human. Embrace your shadows and enter a new terrain of closeness in yourself. As we learn to embrace our shadow, we become moved by an authentic goodness that embraces our wholeness and has no opposite. So it's very necessary, right, to embrace that part of ourselves, to not shun it or shame it, to welcome it. And I know a lot of us have been doing that deep, deep internal work. It's not easy, my dears. So I wanted to talk about that to open. Let's go into some oracle messages. This first deck, it's very sweet. It has like this, it's like a guiding force. A lot of you may want to get this for yourselves. This deck is called Intuitive Whispers Oracle. Let's call Spirit in and see what this deck has to say for the collective for this week. Thank you, Spirit, for presiding over this reading for the collective. This moon feels quiet. I don't know, just, that the quiet when we feel a lot of our emotions and we want to go inward. That's what it feels like today. Almost like a raw and vulnerable. Like you can't hide, right? No hiding. Let's see. Let's see what the intuitive whispers are for the week, for the collective. Spirit. Yeah. Okay, we have You Are Brilliant. And we have that peacock, which is it's being your true self. Stripped away, laid bare. Try human, yeah? This is your humanity, which we are seeing a lot of. All these stories coming out. I'm sending all my love and prayers and light to LA, anyone suffering around the world through environmental change, natural disasters. You are brilliant. Look at how gorgeous that is. Move through your fear and look at that, the full moon. Shed it. Shed it. Right? Allow the most tender version of yourself to emerge this week. This is also the halfway point between the Mars retrograde, and that's in Cancer, full moon in Cancer. So we're pulling back from our journey, our life journey, and we're looking back at the past, and we're evaluating and seeing how much we have moved through, individually and collectively. And what we've largely done is recognize that we are brilliant in our radiance deep down. Once we move through our fear of the shadow, right? It's an integration of both, light and dark. Wow, interesting how we're moving through our fear. And it's allowing us to not split our focus. It really is about integration, isn't it, this week? Where we're going to recognize both ways of operating And I really believe it's not shunning one or the other or relying, love and light, or, oh my God, I'm like it dark, dark, dark. It really is a matter of blending the two. And I think too, there's a lot of the Saturn and the Jupiter lessons here being expressed around our lessons, right? The stern parent, the parental figure of our higher selves, of knowing better than we do sometimes, and that human journey of just feeling helpless. So I think it is an integration of that Mars, I want to force things, and then surrendering, and then the Saturn around our lessons on each of our individual paths, and then our expansion in our growth. There's a shift going on. And I feel like because of the trees here, it's about our communities of support, leaning into our people. That's something that I've noticed too. I've had almost like a shuffling of soul contracts. Have you all? Where it's like people I never thought would leave are leaving, people I never thought would return are returning. And it's almost like I'm getting like, what do they call that? Not whiplash, but there's a word for that. It's not coming to me, but it's just been, wow. There is a sifting and sorting going on in the energies. Then we move into trust the call. As we sit in the embrace of the light and the new dawn, what is your higher awareness saying to you? And what is it that you need to speak? What truth do you need to open up to with the throat? So we have a throat release. A lot of us, whenever I feel like I have things that I'm not saying, I'll have throat issues. So there might be some things that you need to express, even if you need to talk and get it out. You don't even need to say, do an audio, right? Do an audio for yourself. A lot of times talk about, intuitive journaling. Get it out audibly, right? Just do a little audio message, save it for later, as if you were having a conversation with your higher self. There's something around this week needing to express your truth, trusting the call of your higher wisdom, your higher heart, your higher self to rise above whatever you are contending with that is making you feel fear. We're going to be reminded of, all of these. It's like, see all the crow around the moon? It's like all of the thoughts that lead to separation and how that splits our focus from unity consciousness and coming together as one and being split apart and being me versus you. I watched too over the weekend, American Primeval. It was really good, but man, if you want to cry, I'm going to leave these over here to see. Just a current, popular culture here. I watched it in awe of our forefathers here in the States. It was gory. It was brutal. The history of previous eras. And it made me weep with how different our way of life used to be and how it is now, and how we need to return back. I mean, all the indigenous cultures prophesized that there would come a time where we'd move into the fifth world of peace, away from the fourth world of separation. And I believe that we're at the beginning of that, where we know what we can do to each other when we believe that we are separate from one another. And that show in particular was a brutal representation of exactly what that can do, especially in the name of God. And beliefs that pull us apart, rip us apart, and create a lot of suffering. So I watched that kind of in just a deep, deep emotional state of almost like a previous lifetime of suffering, of living in that time period. And I don't know if a lot of you, whenever you watch certain things, you kind of have this layer of emotion that is really not normal. So whenever I watch anything about the American frontier, especially around the plight and the suffering of indigenous tribes, it hits me so hard. But sometimes, it's like that collective wound, right? So anyway, I didn't mean to get somber there, but if you need a good release, it made me grateful though for the warmth of my home. I mean, imagine if you were living in a time period where the resources were scarce. We have so much more longevity now. All right, so let's move into, I digress, sorry. But that show really, it was a really good one. Let's move into this. Oh my God, this deck, When Women Had Wings. The beauty about this deck is it was said that a woman's intuition and her magic was contained in her wings. So when we were able to really heighten our intuitive abilities, they became stored in these proverbial wings. But it made me think of a time where I wonder if, that was true. If there was ever an era where women did have wings, because our magic is our intuition. So these are really cool. This is a new tarot deck. I highly recommend it. Let's see what's going on with the collective. Ooh, okay. All of these want to come out. They're just coming out easily today. We have the Eight of Cups. Like I said, we're releasing emotions. Eight of Cups. It's like they're only showing one wing here. Some of you feel like you've had parts of your very being ripped away from you during this journey in order so you could grow it back. And what does that mean? This is for you to really understand your intuition, recognize your magic, and almost regenerate that. And even for you men out there, this is about supporting your women in that, in honoring their intuition, their gifts. I feel the more we release at this time and we let go under this full moon, the deeper we go, the more regenerative it will be, the more fuel we'll have for the journey ahead for 2025. Next to the Eight of Cups, we have the Ten of Pentacles. Community mindset, coming together, gathering with like-minded individuals, not overthinking the path. Nine of Swords. Let me get all these out. Wow, these all came out. Let me get the story here. Okay, interesting. We have the opportunity to drop the emotional baggage of the shadow that's been collected on the journey and to look at what we want to commit to long term and not overstress about that with the Nine of Swords. We have the Ten of Pentacles to the Nine of Swords to the Six of Swords. We as a collective are moving on from the field, the framework, the psychology of separation. And we know this. Spirit is sending us the messages. We know what it's like to operate from a feeling of, I am separate from you, you are separate from me, and to attack one another. Spirit is saying that's not the way we need to go about things. A lot of you are getting these divine downloads. You're feeling like you're moving beyond whatever made you feel stuck mentally. Especially around the accumulation of your emotions, you are moving away from it. We are being called to drop things, like I said, some long-term contracts that you're like, whoa, I never thought this would happen. But it's what needs to happen. Sometimes we must part. It's like the period in those shows where it's like the characters have been on a journey, but now they got to go their separate ways and do their individual work. And maybe they'll find each other again. Maybe they won't. But the point is to, when you feel you're at a crossroads with something and your intuition is telling you it's time to let go, you let go. And that's what Spirit's saying. Because in that, you find balance. Whatever is making you feel off balance, it's not going to serve you to hang on to it. So Spirit is saying, let go of the past, let go of the old wounds, let go of the attachments, from fear to love, from fear to love. And it's not easy work, folks. So only then, that's your wisdom. We have the King of Swords to round that out. This is deep collective work, you all. We're looking at our past baggage that we've accumulated in our life's journey. 10 of Pentacles, especially around our long-term contracts, our material 3D reality. 10 of Pentacles is our 3D world. It is our physical earth. And the stress that we have gone through, the fight or flights, the survival mode, all of it. Spirit's like, do you want to continue living that way? Fear to love. Fear to love. And you're getting it. You're getting it. It's about balance. Only then can we live with an integrated wholeness between light and shadow. This feels like a deep, deep week of going into our wise minds and releasing anything that stands in the way of exercising sound judgment. And this shift of our collective past karma. That's South Node in Libra. It was our past karmic relationships. And what did you learn? What did you learn? You may want to take this week to sit down, or talk. Send yourself a little voice memo for, and you have the little message in a bottle or time capsule. That might be a really cool thing to do. I just got that idea. Do a voice memo and save it for the end of the year. Make some promises to yourself based on this Cancer full moon point and the releasing that you're doing and the acknowledgement that you're doing of your life's journey. And save it. Don't listen to it after you do it, and save it for the end of the year. I think that'd be a really, really cool exercise. I'm getting that because the King of Swords is an orator. He knows how to speak with wisdom. He's someone who's very captivating. When you sit beside him and you listen, he's got amazing stories. He's a beautiful storyteller. And he's telling the story of truth, the truth of your reality, the truth of your life lessons and your life journey. And all of the answers that if you just sit in the state of love and you let go of having to control everything. 9 of Swords. I got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. And Spirit's like, just let go. Move away. Move away from your past burdens and let go. I love this deck. Let's get a clarifying card on the Justice, which is the only major arcana here, which is moving away from the South Node in Libra. Let's see. I love this deck. We got the Scales. And I do believe that's judgment. I believe when we die and we pass on from this world, we judge ourselves with our spirit team. And we have some difficult moments looking back. Consider this. Consider when you pass on feeling every thought and emotion you ever made anybody feel. Allow that to sink in. When I think about that possibility, doesn't mean it's true or not, but to think of that possibility, it makes you reframe your life. Wow. Wow. All right. Why is the Justice here for the week? Ooh, that wanted to hit the mic. That hit the mic and did like a 180. 10 of Cups. Not sure which way that came out. Ace of Cups. There we go. Wow. And the Page of Swords. So this is about moving into connections, our long-term connections that are emotionally rich, that are nourishing, that are nurturing, that make you feel like it's safe to keep my heart open. I'm getting it. Thank you, Spirit. Ooh, my whole body went into goosebumps. That's what we're moving toward, you all. Away from the, oh my God, I'm stressing out about this. I don't know what to do. I just got kind of snagged in my own hair. It's like you get snagged in the mental plane. It's all about balance. That's what Libra taught us in the South Node. If it's not balanced and you're overgiving, overfunctioning, or you're dealing with somebody who's running away from you, runner chaser, let them. Because you know what? The right people stay. The right people fight to be open, to to communicate, to be real, to be true, right? To show you how they feel. I think that there's a lot that we're learning. Page of Swords is uncomfortable truths that we're finding out. And if it's not balanced, it's not right. So this goes with the way we perceive others. This is the way we recognize our value and our worth about what we're going to tolerate or not. And Spirit's like, only the best. Only the best. That's what you deserve. A lot of people are in brand new beginnings that are we're talking about relationship overhaul in the collective. We've never gone to this place before where a lot of our material needs are taken care of. We're not in survival mode and we can nurture each other. What can we build then? It's, you tell me. You tell me, folks. Let's get some advice. Wow. It feels like a whole new journey with the South Node and North Node shifting here. It's our karma, our collective karma. And a lot of us have done a lot of that work, and we're ready. We're ready for brand new heart openings, real nurturing and love, safety. Chariot. Yeah. The advice. Move forward. Listen with those wings. Listen to your intuition. Queen of Swords, married to the King of Swords. What do we have now? Wisdom. Wisdom. Heart wisdom. Nine of Swords. We all know what it's like to really stress, okay? You know, if you're getting stressed about a situation, it's time to let go. Let go. Let your higher self step in. You don't have to take it to the mind and figure it out. Nothing's going to get solved in the present moment by overthinking anything. You need to go within. A lot of people are going through some confusing situations, disappointments in relationships this week where you're not sure, you're confused. This is about what have we learned collectively? Boundaries. Healthy boundaries. If it's not reciprocal, right? If the timing is off, if someone isn't showing up for you, let them. So many times have we not gone towards things that we know we're trying to convince someone. So the advice here that came spilling out is to move forward with your healthy boundaries intact, making sound decisions that protect your inner vibration. Move through whatever disappointments that have stressed you out when it comes to people who are really coming in with genuine open-heartedness in your life. I'm not just talking about romance. I'm talking about everything. Your advice is to have boundaries around the people that don't have the best intentions. God bless them. Goddess bless them. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they're wounded. And they've not done enough of the work to show up with an open heart. And you know what it feels like when you encounter that. Walled, guarded, I'm wounded. And then you think, if I can just fix them, rescue them, help them, friend, family member, love interest, doesn't matter who it is. That's their work. And that's what Libra in the South Node taught us. So this is about putting that into practice and no longer tolerating anything less than what you deserve. Okay? That's what's happening for a lot of people this week. And this is a karmic year. So if you've been in a relationship where this is predominantly making you stress out in a state of ambivalence, should I stay, should I go? I feel really unhappy. It's time to get honest with yourself. Cut to the chase. Where's the truth? Where was it? Somewhere around here. See, that's the thing. If you're like, where's the truth? And you don't even know where it is anymore. Listen, listen to that. This seemed like a pretty intense week with what you have to face that maybe you don't want to face. Okay? We'll call it uncomfortable truths. We'll call it uncomfortable truths. All right, let's now get to Mark Nepo. Let's see what Mark has to say, because he's always right on point with the energies of the week. Now, this is for January 13th. Why we need each other. Interesting. A blind child guided by his mother admires the cherry blossoms. Kikayu? Who knows what a blind child sees of blossoms or songbirds? Who knows what any of us sees from the privacy of our own blindness? And make no mistake, each of us is blind in a particular way, just as each of us is sighted uniquely. Consider how each of us is blinded by what we fear. If we fear heights, we are blind to the humility vast perspectives bring. If we fear spiders, we are blind to the splendor and danger of webs. If we fear small spaces, we are blind to the secrets of sudden solitude. If we fear passion, we are blind to the comfort of oneness. If we fear change, we are blind to the abundance of life. If we fear death, we are blind to the mystery of the unknown. And since to fear something is thoroughly human, to be blind is unavoidable. It is what each of us must struggle to overcome. With this in mind, Kikaku's, it's 3 Ks. Kikaku's little poem serves as an internal parable. For in the course of our lives, we all stumble and struggle repeatedly in and out of relationship and in and out of the grace of the hidden wholeness of life. It is in part why we need each other, for often our relationships help us experience the oneness of things. When we do this in the course of our lives by taking turns being the blind child, the loving guide, and the unsuspecting blossom, never knowing which we are called to be until we've learned what we are to learn. Close your eyes and repeat Kikaku's haiku 3 times. And each time identify with a different position. A blind child, guided by his mother, admires the cherry blossoms. The first time, breathe slowly and become the blind child, admiring the blossoms he or she can't see. The second time, breathe deeply and become the loving other, guiding his or her blind child to a beauty they can share but never experience the same way. The third time, breathe without thinking and become the cherry blossom itself that stops both those who can see and those who cannot. We're moving into the third perspective of being able to become the cherry blossom itself. Wow, that's pretty deep, Mark. Why we need each other. It's how we learn, it's how we grow, it's how we see all sides. That's why they wanted me to talk about when we pass on, because we get to see how we made other people feel. Wow. He always gets me, that Mark. All right, let's get a final pull. I thought instead of a self-care deck, we would get a Mystic Forest Oracle card message for the collective for the week. And then I'll throw some announcements at you. Whoa. Okay, we'll take the ones that wanted to come upright. Trust your feelings. A lot of you are looking at some romantic situations. We had the Knight of Cups, where you might be down about some things, but hopeful about other things. It looks like a lot of people are facing new beginnings in love, new relationship energy, trying to make healthy decisions around the heart. Trust your feelings. You are unique. Your destiny is waiting for you to write your story and pave your own path. Follow your heart. Don't let others dictate who you should be. Yeah, walking into a new journey, into a new chapter where it's important that we trust the way we feel, not the way we fear. Embodiment, like I said, the integration of the light and the shadow. Now is the time to make your mark in the world. You decide what feels right to you. Embody your leadership power and create your world out of your deepest desires. Through this winter melt, I feel like we're walking down a more narrow pathway where a lot of us are. That is our calling, to trust our feelings and to embody our power so we can create new worlds from our deepest truths and our deepest desires. Ooh, instant manifestation. When I grabbed this deck, this card came out, and I knew a lot of people are actually manifesting emotionally rich experiences and connections at this time. It's magical. We had the 10 of Cups and the Ace of Cups after all. Soul and mind working together create a dream in the heart. You have nothing to lose. You carry the dream. Your intention is pure. Be ready to receive. Yeah. If you have been pure in your intention and you have been working soul and mind, right? Creating that dream, you could feel this week there's something instantly manifesting that you did not expect. Yeah. You're forging a new path because you're allowing other things, other situations to just let it be. A lot of us have found the key to manifesting our desires, and especially around the way we're relating to other people. I don't know why. I'm getting one more. I want to do one more thing. I did this for the collective for the 10th through the 20th, where it was around what we need to ground in our feelings. And I'm feeling called to pull that right now. What do we need to ground in our feelings because of this Cancer full moon? We're going to feel it ripple out for the next week or two. After today, the 13th, it's a softening. It's a softening to people, to our own hearts. Whew, nurturing self. A lot of self-care is important right now. What do we need to ground in our feelings? Slow down. Knight of Pentacles. Slow down. Just one day at a time. King of Pentacles. Yep. Ground in the 3D reality. Anything, like I said, that will make you feel grounded this week. Ooh, yeah, wow. A lot of Pentacle energy. It's like we're rounding out Capricorn season 2. And I think maybe that's what we experienced in the Capricorn season was the slowing down of the energies. And especially with this Mars retrograde. We can't, it's like, oh, I just want to move forward, you know, and we're halfway right now in that Mars retrograde energy. And it's pinging against this deep, deep feeling center. And it really, I feel like even the astrology is saying, surrender, surrender, surrender. And we're like, nah. So people are holding on really tight. You might really struggle. And the way to let go is to ground. So whatever you can do that makes you feel like you're in the present moment, not trying to predict some future scenario, which is a false sense of control. We do this when we feel like we're not in control. So the best way to stay grounded is to slow the energy down, be more methodical and practical, ground in your energy in your day-to-day life, which is the King of Pentacles, really, you know, chop wood, carry water, right? That whole notion. And you know, take this time too to sit with your feelings around how you want to invest, who you want to invest in and with and beside in this new journey. 7 of Pentacles is that card of reconsideration, reassessment, reevaluation, right? Looking backward so we can go forward. And it feels like there's this need to just sit still, be mindful, be present, slow down, and consider all of the moving parts when it comes to your time, energy, and resources. And consider if it's worth it. Is this choice worth it? Is this person worth it? Is this path worth it? And when you really sit down and you get clear about that from a grounded place, not the sky is falling place. It's really coming from your deeper knowing, your deeper truth. There's your answer. All right. So that concludes our reading. Thank you for coming in today, for joining me on the collective reading. Okay. Announcements. I really don't have many. I'm going to be moving into doing the rest of the annual readings, which I haven't done for the water signs or the earth signs yet. So thank you for being patient with me. I really wanted to get these out this year. Some readers do them, some don't. But because I'm making it a general reading for each season and we're looking at the bigger energies and the themes, they've been incredible. Everybody's stepping up so far. The air signs and the fire signs really are trying to reach for their highest timeline and whatever they got to shift in their own mental, emotional, and physical paradigms to do that. It's been absolutely phenomenal. So I feel like these annual readings are really about you reaching for the highest potential for 2025. So I hope you enjoyed those when they come out. I don't think I'll get all of them out this week, the rest of them, but just stay tuned for those as they'll be intermittently sprinkled in. I did ask a lot of you, do you want the 5 element reading, like a preview for February? Do you want to do another weekly for the rest of January? And it felt like most people were like, I really am enjoying the weeklies, Jenna, which is the every 10-day reading. So I think I'll be rounding out for the next batch with the 21st to the 31st reads, and then we'll go into an overview for February after that. So because it seems like January, there's a lot of moving parts, so we can get settled. It's almost like you're getting a map, and then you're like, wait, this is not the map I need. And then we're getting different maps. So I feel like by the end of January, we're going to have the real map, maybe even whenever this Mars retrograde is over. I think that's like the first or second week of February, where we're going to have the map, right? And we're going to know this is the map that is mine. But until then, I feel like there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of different decisions, like that Seven of Pentacles, of reevaluating your direction, right, in your 3D world, and what you have the patience for in your movements for the incoming energies in the new year. So that's what it feels like. Wait for the right map that feels like this is the map. So I hope that makes sense. That wanted to come in at the end there. So with all that being said, thank you for joining me today. I'm sending you so much love. Feel what you need to feel. Turn on a show. Cry your heart out. I had the deepest, most cleansing cry, and it felt like a ancestral cry watching that show of just suffering and sadness, that, some of the things you might be feeling may not even be in this lifetime and the circumstances you faced. It could be from other lifetimes. It feels like this is very deep energetic clearing, collectively, karmically. It feels deeper. It could be, ancestral suffering as well. All right. Namaste. Take care.